Specialist for the Wyoming Arts Council and the coordinator for this year's Poetry Out Loud competition. Welcome to the 9th Annual Wyoming Poetry Out Loud State Competition. Poetry Out Loud is a memorization and recitation contest for 9th through 12th grade students that begins in the classroom. POL was piloted in 2005, and today there are millions of students that take part from every state, and also including the District of Columbia, U.S. Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico. One of the Wyoming students sitting right in the front row this evening will be one of 53 competitors at the national level this coming April. The National Endowment for the Arts and the Poetry Foundation have developed the program and partnered with state agencies like ours to support it. This year we have competitors from Sundance, Fort Washakie, Shoshone, Buffalo, KC, Cheyenne, Casper, Riverton, Arvada Clearmont, Green River, Jackson, and Hannah Elk Mountain. At this time, I'm going to invite Mike Shay, our Communications and Literary Specialist at the Arts Council, to take over as the Master of Ceremonies.
Next, let's hear from Sara Ellingrod, and on deck is Amanda Marcy. Sara.
The Pomegranate and the Big Crowd by Alberto Rios. Ventura, because she was hungry and because she was curious, but more because she was curious, took the dare. A kiss for a pomegranate. Everyone gathered, her friends and his. Everyone watched. The boys, the girls, the pigs and the chickens and more. Moving to the front were the children she and Clemente would one day have. And the children of those children, too, gathered and loud with everyone and everything else. Loud as the pigs and fast as the chickens. Though she could not see them, still they crowded her, and she could feel their anxious breathing. This boy, Clemente, whom she would kiss, she would have kissed even without the pomegranate, though she could not say it, and was glad of this game. He suited her, she thought. He had a strong face. He felt what she felt. She could see him look around, but not at their friends. She could see him feel the shiver of the children they would have. Their son, Margarito, his two sisters, both of whom would become nuns if just to pray enough to take care of him. This boy, so serious. He would seem like a stranger in their arms. Serious enough by himself to make up for Clemente and Ventura and for all the laughter they themselves would feel. This curious child, who as an old man would never trust a doctor for anything. And his serious wife to come, Refugio, and her sisters, Matilde and Consuelo as well. All the people who would follow this kiss. So many of them, and their children too. Everyone stood there, arms up, everyone watching. So much noise in this moment. This quick lending of herself to his cheek. The way Ventura would later kiss all these impatient children of theirs. The kiss seemed so small, but was filled with itself. This small moment of affection she gave this boy, the quarter second that it took, there they all stood, waiting with the crowd, egging them on, hefting the pomegranate and pushing them toward each other. Clemente and Ventura in that quarter second lived their lives. A quarter second not finished yet.
Next, let's hear from Sara Ellingrod, followed by Caitlin Emerson.
A March in the Ranks Hard Pressed and the Road Unknown by Walt Whitman. A march in the ranks, hard pressed, and the road unknown. A route through a heavy wood with muffled steps in the darkness. Our army foiled with loss severe, and the sullen remnant retreating. Till after midnight glimmer upon us the lights of a dim-lighted building. We come to an open space in the woods and halt by the dim-lighted building. 'Tis a large old church at the crossing roads, now an impromptu hospital. Entering but for a minute, I see a sight beyond all the pictures and poems ever made. Shadows of deepest, deepest black, just lit by moving candles and lamps, and by one great pitchy torch, stationary with wild red flame and clouds of smoke. By these, crowds, groups of forms vaguely I see on the floor, some in the pews laid down. At my feet more distinctly, a soldier, a mere lad, in danger of bleeding to death. He is shot in the abdomen. I stanch the blood temporarily. The youngster's face is white as a lily. Then, before I depart, I sweep my eyes o'er the scene, fain to absorb it all. Faces, varieties, postures beyond description, most in obscurity, some of them dead. Surgeons operating, attendants holding lights, the smell of ether, the odor of blood. The crowd, oh, the crowd of the bloody forms, the yard outside also filled. Some on the bare ground, some on planks or stretchers, some in death spasm, sweating. An occasional scream or cry. The doctor's shouted orders or calls. The glisten of the little steel instruments catching the glint of the torches. These I resume as I chant. I see again the forms. I smell the odor. Then hear outside the orders given. Fall in, my men. Fall in. But first, I bend to the dying lad. His eyes open. A half smile gives he me. Then the eyes close. Calmly close. And I speed forth to the darkness. Resuming, marching, ever in darkness marching. On in the ranks the unknown road, still marching.
Next presenter is Sara Ellingrod, followed by Chance Gates. Sara.
The Greatest Grandeur by Patty Ann Rogers. Some say it's in the reptilian dance of the purple-tongued sand goanna, for there the the magnificent translation of tenacity into bone and grace occurs. And some declare it to be an expansive desert, solid rust-orange rock like dusk, captured on earth and stone, simply for the perfect contrast it provides to the blue-gray ridge of rain in the distant hills. Some claim the harmonics of shifting electron rings to be most rare, and some the complex motion of 7 sandpipers bisecting the arcs and pitches of come and retreat over the mounting hayfield. Others, for grandeur, choose the terror of lightning peals on prairies, or the tall collapsing cathedrals of stormy seas, because there they feel dwarfed and appropriately helpless. Others select the serenity of that ceiling cellar of stars they see at night on placid lakes, because there they feel assured and universally magnanimous. But it is the dark emptiness contained in every next moment that seems to me the most singularly glorious gift. That void which one is free to fill with processions of men bearing burning cedar knots, or with parades of blue horses, belled and ribboned and stepping sideways, with tumbling white-faced mimes, or companies of black-robed choristers. To fill simply with hammered silver teapots, or kiln-dried crockery, tangerine and almond custards, polonaises, polkas, whittling sticks, wailing walls. That space, large enough to hold all invented blasphemies and pieties, 10,000 definitions of God and more, never fully filled. Never.
I just want to congratulate each of you. This is a great achievement, and it's a wonderful thing that you're pursuing, really keeping the arts alive in a way that wouldn't otherwise. In this age of cell phones and texting and all of that, you're keeping, written and spoken word alive, and I think that is a wonderful thing. So we are delighted for each of you today. We're going to give you each an award and get a photo with you, and with that, then we'll head to the Capitol for the ceremony. Yes, Sara Ellingrod. Congratulations. That's wonderful. Okay, 2 shots.
Thank you.
I'm Milward Simpson. I'm the director of the Wyoming Department of State Parks and Cultural Resources. It's my great pleasure to have the honor to MC this special award ceremony once again, our 9th annual Wyoming Poetry Out Loud State Competition. I'd like to begin by thanking and introducing our fantastic judges for this year's event. I hope you all enjoyed working with them during the workshops this morning. And please do stand up and let us acknowledge you one more time. And we also appreciate very much your willingness to share your own works with us at the competition last night. Our educators this year, our judges, were Kelly Madigan, poet and educator from Nebraska. Adrian Molina of Molina Speaks and the Youth on Record. Adrian, thank you. And I understand he may have had to leave early because of the weather forecast, but Chris Probst, poet and educator at Western Wyoming Community College. Let's thank him. And of course, Wyoming's own poet laureate, Echo Klaproth. Thank you so much. This time it's my privilege and honor to introduce First Lady Carol Mead. She has been an outspoken supporter of Wyoming's families and a supporter of arts and literacy. We're very honored once again this year to have her with us. And without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, First Lady Carol Mead.
Well, good morning to all of you, and thank you for having me again this year to Poetry Out Loud. This is one of my favorite things to get to come to each year. I love seeing our young people involved in this. You know, part of my delight in the celebration of 2014 Poetry Out Loud is just seeing kids involved in the arts in this special way. Before I get into my remarks, I want to also just thank a couple of people who have generously, and organizations that generously have given up their time and talents and resources to bring this great program to our state. So my deep appreciation to the National Endowment for the Arts, the Poetry Foundation, Wyoming Arts Council, State Parks and Cultural Resources Director Milward Simpson, Sarah Ellingrod, our Cultural Resources Administrator, and this year's judges, obviously, including Poet Laureate Echo Claproth. I want to thank all of the parents, teachers, and mentors of these students for encouraging them and supporting them along the way and promoting the arts in our young people. You know, as First Lady, I've chosen children's issues as an area of focus in my time in this role, and included within that is promotion of the arts among our youth. And this is because I wholeheartedly believe that participation is critical to a child's development. When creativity takes wing in a young person, I think incredible opportunities for self-expression arise, and so do opportunities for growth and self-confidence. Artistic outlets are fun, and they're fresh platforms for exploring and learning in unexpected ways. And as First Lady, I've had the privilege to work with young artists all around the state in a variety of different capacities. It's been great fun, but I do so because I believe in the profound effect it has in a child's development. So we are fortunate to have Poetry Out Loud in Wyoming as one of these outlets. Through the memorization and recitation of poetry, you're not only learning about poetry and about our literary heritage, but you're building public speaking skills and self-confidence that are two traits I think will serve you very well throughout the rest of your years in school and throughout life, no matter what course you choose to take. You are here today because you are the best in your schools. I'm honored to be here with you. Your participation at the state level is evidence of your hard work and of your talent, and I'm proud of each and every one of you. Keep it up. Today, 2 of you will be named as winner and runner-up at the state level, and you'll be recognized for your accomplishment with a prize for yourself and for your school. And the winner will have an opportunity to compete at the national level. So to both of you who are named today, and you will be named in just a few moments, I want to offer my wholehearted congratulations to you. And to all of you that have participated, I want to wish you the best of luck for the rest of your academic careers here in Wyoming and beyond. I think your futures are very, very bright. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Carol, and thanks for all you do to support the arts and arts education and to support the cause of literacy in the state. And you all know the First Lady is a newly published author, correct? Well, this is a wonderful program. Poetry Out Loud builds on the resurgence of poetry as a spoken art form. The program encourages young people to learn about great poetry through memorization and performance, which helps students master public speaking skills and build self-confidence. But it does a lot more. We live in a time of diminished attention spans, a time of increased environment characterized by increased distractions. We live in a time when it's more and more difficult to point to that which binds us together culturally, a common cultural frame of reference. It's a time that's resulted in a decrease in literacy, decrease in people who read just as part of their everyday lives, decrease in humanities education. So this is an important program. And the reason I mention that is because I'm absolutely convinced that a strong, thriving, increasingly complex republic such as ours requires citizens who have mastered the power of language, who understand it, who know how to use it. And so what you're doing is